I see a potato. Welcome to Idaho. So let's see what this looks like. This is Treaty Rock Park. There's a lady in those apartment buildings screaming. I might have entered the part of Idaho where people's brains are filled with tomatoes and potatoes. I guess this is a park. I'm starting to get a little hungry. Just entered Idaho about 2 miles ago. I wonder if they have a potato park in Idaho. I'd actually stop by that just to make some jokes. That's pretty neat, those apartment buildings right there. Right on the edge of Potato Park. This is a bench for people who get tired really fast. And I'm not going to walk too much into it because I'm really not a big walker if I'm alone. It's more fun if you walk with someone else because then you can always like walk really fast and get them mad. Or walk really slow and annoy them. And this is what I hate the most out of all of these places. The highway's right there. So you're in this area and you still hear morons driving by at 70 miles an hour. I'll walk to the mid-bottom part, see if there's a nice view or if this might just be a hiking trail or walking trail. Looks like it's just a hiking trail, but I see a cliff and it definitely would make more excitement in this video if I just walk straight off the cliff. Although I can't do this because I need my phone. And that's a wall. That's the highway wall. Oh, come on, what kind of a park is this? The sun was shining and I thought that was actually an opening. So that might be the biggest disappointment I've had in about 80% of my life, where I thought something good was coming and instead, more than likely, a homeless encampment under the bridge. So that's just gonna loop around, I guess. No, that's a dead end. Well, this is the biggest park I've ever seen. But you know, it's worth stopping at these places because sometimes tractor trailers drive by and you can't hear me. And other times you find something really neat. Like at that boat launch in Washington State. I didn't expect that. Of course I saw that from the road, so it doesn't count. But I still like stopping at places like this, and what I'm hoping is I get some places in videos that maybe it has not already been made 1,000 times. And the other thing is, I'm pretty much sticking to, you know, I don't want to drive more than like 8 miles off route because then I'll never get to my final destination, which I think people are starting to figure out where it is from the ending of my last video. And what I said that I didn't want to say, that I may or may not delete or edit out when I put together that video. Worth a stop? I think the next place on my list is about 20 miles. And I'll sit around for 5 minutes and take off on the bench. I'm staying here until tomorrow. So to my next place, it's a little bit more out of the way than I had thought. Not that bad, 8 miles, 8 minutes, but it's a nice drive. Right along the lake, just wanted to show that, and we'll be there in a couple of minutes. There are a lot of cars on the highway now since I've entered Idaho, so I'm guessing there's a potato festival somewhere. I don't really know, I'm just, assuming. I didn't expect that many cars in Idaho. Where we're heading to now is called Higgins Point. You know those videos you see where someone just woke up, they're standing on their front porch, nice music is playing, they're drinking their cup of coffee, everything looks like paradise? These videos always drive me crazy. There's a boat. There's another boat. So we've arrived at Higgins Point. It's just a dead end. Past all of the little picnic areas. And I wanted to have breakfast out here. I like when there's no people. See a few speedboats passing through. Not now. And once again, that's the highway. This place is, I thought it was right off the highway. I didn't realize you had to get off an exit ramp and drive about 8 miles down a curvy, hilly back road. But it was one of the places on my list, and I just figured stop here and have breakfast. I think a lot of cars are like me. They're getting disappointed. They're all just coming in here and turning around. Nobody's stopping. They just realize it's a dead end. They turn around. And that's the way it goes. I'm out of donuts. Sorry. I bet you they would have stopped if I put up a table selling donuts. So I'm out of donuts. I'm leaving too. This is the boat launch. That's why there's so many cars here. A lot of police, sheriffs. And I'll just make about a minute drive leaving, because it is pretty driving back here. We are now driving through the Idaho Panhandle. One day that's what I'm gonna get. It might not be a Ram, and it might not be a 2500, and that might not be as lifted as this truck is, but one day I'll get it. So this is the Mullen Road Historical Site. Wasn't sure what it was. I looked it up in Google. Something made me write it down. I'm guessing it wasn't this sign. I'll keep it up so you guys can read it for a minute. Hit pause if I was too fast. This is about 15 miles after the speedboats. I have a few stops along the way that aren't too far from each other. And I'm not going to go and walk up this road because I know nothing about how far it is and, you know, if it's just going to be a path. But another place to stop and to read a reminder. Idaho law requires anyone without a valid driver's license to take a safety class to operate an OHV on any Forest Service or BLM roadway. I don't have any of that. I can't drive up that road anyhow because the rental agency does not allow off-pavement driving. And that's pretty much what I'm doing. I have my laptop with the places I want to stop at. And then if I see any signs on the side of the road, like I said before, I stop there. The one complaint I'm going to have about Washington State, as well as so far about 40 miles into Idaho, I never find any trash cans at these stops. And I've got trash, and I want to discard my trash. So let's get a trash can up. Idaho, put a pause on making potatoes. Make trash cans. Okay, driving down the highway, I saw a sign and I said, I think I want to stop there because it sounded funny. It was called Elmers Fountain. Just got off the highway, drove over that bridge, came down here, and it said, this is my destination. And I found 2 eggshells, no potatoes, this. Now, that's not going to be a fountain. That's a rock. That could be a fountain, but it's not. So then I saw these steps. And I said, maybe Elmers Fountain, which is what it is called, is down here. So, as I take a few steps, I see a lot of brush, what appears to be a pair of underwear, and a bike path to nowhere. So I guess if I run out of underwear, I know where to come. And I'm gonna go with, this is Elmers Fountain. Now, I don't know if any of you live in Idaho. I'd be very curious to know, did I just find the most boring fountain in the universe? I mean, if there was water running down this, I could see it being a fountain. The rocks. I don't even hear water. Maybe there's water over here. Because now, just now as I'm speaking, I see a little bridge. I didn't even see this before. There's got to be water down. Yes, there's water. Ah, Elmers Fountain. That's not a fountain, that's a creek. And there's not even a sign. But I'm happy I found it. I tell you what, if I had brought my lunch, I'd sit with Elmer. I have to say, up until this point, Idaho, you have not really impressed me a whole bunch. And you didn't have a big challenge going against Washington State. Now, I know there's a lot of areas in Washington State I didn't go through that are really pretty, and there were some nice things in there. And I was being kind of hard on their farmland because I want to see mountains and rivers. I'm giving this a good point for Idaho. But it's just a creek, so I'm being very generous. And on my map, I don't know how far I am to the next state. I'm guessing it's going to be a few hundred miles. Not sure if I'm going to be stopping much more, but thank you, Idaho. And I'm sure I missed some nice things here that just weren't on my, route that I'm taking.